In today's video, I am really excited to be sharing 20 different habits that I started in 2021, which I am really excited to carry on with me into 2022 because they've just served me so well. So let's jump in. This is going to be quite a list, and let's start out with the first one, which I've been doing for about 5 weeks now since I got my daughter Cassie trained to sleep through the night, and that is waking up early. Obviously, right after I had Cassie, it was pretty much survival mode, but for about the past month, I've been getting up between 6 and 7, usually it's about 6:15, and just having the morning to myself, and it has been so wonderful, and it's really been the first time ever that I haven't had to force myself to get out of bed, because I'm just so excited to have some time by myself in the morning to think and journal and do my Bible. Habit number 2 that I've implemented is drinking a quart of water in the morning and a quart of water at night. And it has just helped me stay so much more hydrated. I do still drink tea and other things throughout the day, but this guarantees I'm getting some water in my body, which is very good. Habit number 3 that I'm still kind of in the process of getting in the habit of doing every night is to empty the coffee pot, rinse it out, and have it all set up for the next day. Because I've just found it so much easier to get up in the morning when you know you can just go and click on the coffee pot and have fresh coffee basically instantly. As of November, I got a sourdough starter, and I am just so excited to start making my own sourdough bread and sourdough pancakes and all those things. And that is another habit I'm very hopeful to carry all through 2022. I really think a big reason why I was able to have a lot more success in the habits that I developed this past year was because I read a book by James Clear called Atomic Habits. If you haven't read this book, I super recommend it if you want to develop better habits, but not have to work harder to try to develop them. He really kind of hacks how to develop habits in the easiest, most natural way possible. And this has been the most sustainable way I've ever been able to create new and better habits. Habit number 5 that I developed this year, which I'm really happy to finally be doing consistently every day, is to take my vitamins. You'll probably notice that a lot of these habits are focused around becoming healthier. That's been one of my goals this last year. And so a simple way that I'm trying to do that right now is to cut out some cups of coffee that I'm having every day and replace them with healthy tea alternatives. And then I'm using honey or stevia to sweeten them instead of using sugar. And I notice I just feel a lot better. I stay way better hydrated, and I produce more milk to nurse Cassie, which is kind of necessary right now. While we're on the lines of health, not only do I want to become healthier physically, and I would like to lose a little bit of weight, but I also want to become healthier spiritually. And so a really cool way that I felt like I've grown spiritually this last year is by starting to consistently prayer journal or journal my prayers. I was given this prayer journal by actually my husband's aunt, and I have used it for probably the last 6 months. I've almost completed the entire thing, and I have tried in the past so many times to prayer journal, and I've never been consistent, and this journal just really helped me become super consistent, and I have fallen in love with it. And besides that, another really cool thing is that you can go back and see how God has answered so many prayers, when other times I find I just forget. I forget even what I prayed. So that has been another really cool thing. The next habit that I am so excited to really continue trying to develop is just to become a lifelong learner, particularly in the vein of reading more books. And so over the past 2 months, I think I've read 2 or 3 books, which is crazy for me. And it has been so fabulous. And something I'm doing to try to make this as easy as possible is to have books that I'm really excited about readily available. I find that's really helpful with actually reading consistently. Okay, not to become a squeaky wheel over here, but habit number 9 is replacing a lot of sandwiches that I have for lunch with salads, because I really do consume a lot more bread than is probably helpful if I want to get any smaller of a waist eventually. So I'm trying to replace it with salads. I'm not becoming legalistic about this, but I do think it'll be beneficial for my overall health. Okay, habit number 10. I talked about this one actually in my video discussing, I think, ways to be less overwhelmed, I'm pretty sure. But back in August, I actually completely forgot about a super important appointment I was supposed to go to during the week. Because I was just so overwhelmed and so busy, I didn't write it down. I didn't have time to look at my planner. And so I developed this little system I've used ever since then that's been so helpful. And it is that every Sunday night, I divide a piece of paper into 3 sections for my next week. The first section is plans and appointments. The second section is meal plans for that week. And the third section is my goals. And it has just made me feel so much less overwhelmed. Okay, the next habit I really want to keep up with this next year that I've done off and on for a couple of years now is to do a monthly workout challenge. I hate working out, just making up my own workout every single day. It's not something I enjoy doing at all. And so instead, I found I'm much more successful with working out more consistently if I just do some type of like Pinterest workout challenge for each month of the year. And so that's what I've been doing, and I've experienced much more success. I'm still a little bit behind in my squat challenge for November, but that's okay. I'm working out way more than if I was just trying to make up some type of workout and do it every single day. Okay, habit number 12 is not really like one individual habit. It's more just things I'm trying to do in general to become a more organized person. I would love to be more like the YouTuber Sara, I think is how you say her name, when it comes to just being organized and cleanly. And so it's more just trying to be more intentional rather than developing one specific habit. Habit number 13, and I feel like I've gotten somewhat good at this one, which is really exciting, is to just pick up my house every single night before bed. I love how Mrs. Midwest calls it something like prettying, I think she says prettying your kitchen to bed every night, but I like to say prettying my house to bed every night. And usually this just involves clutter cleanup, sweeping the floors, and cleaning up the kitchen, but it just makes waking up the next day so much more motivating. Well, really for several years now, I have gotten in the habit of whenever I buy groceries, cleaning out the fridge before I restock it. Something I started doing this past year that I've really enjoyed is actually spraying the fridge down on the inside, especially before I put the groceries in. And it just makes for a much more clean and appetizing looking fridge. The next habit I would really like to continue to develop, and I've been trying to focus on mostly the last month or so, is journaling more consistently. I grew up journaling basically every single day, and I think around the time I got married, I just fell out of the habit. A method for developing habits that Atomic Habits talks about is called something like stacking habits or habit stacking. And I found this to be incredibly helpful, and it's been one of the things that have probably been the most beneficial with finally having success with different habits that I'm trying to start. And how this method works is you basically take a habit that you have already completely developed to the extent where you just do it like the back of your hand, you don't even have to think about it, and either before or right after you do that habit, you add a new one. And so for an example, every single day I read my Bible. And so it's very easy for me to just add on that immediately after that, I want to journal. It doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 1 minute, or maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It's just a really good reminder that instantly, as soon as I'm going to brush my teeth. Okay, that reminds me, I was going to wipe out the sink right after I brush my teeth, things like that. Habit 16 is kind of another healthy habit, shockingly, and that is that over this past year, I have really gradually tried to remove some different unhealthy food options from our meals and replace them with healthier alternatives. And so I just want to continue doing that, replacing flour with organic, unbleached white flour, replacing regular breads with organic whole wheat breads, just little things like that are really, I think, going to help us long term. Habit number 17 that I applied this last year was starting to scrub out the sink every single night. It just gets so gross and I hate scrubbing it out when I'm tired. And so another method that I used was I took a sticky note, wrote October's homemaking goal, and stuck it right above my sink and wrote on it, scrub out my sink every single night. And for some reason, just having that little reminder actually helped me succeed, I would say probably about 80% of the time. And now I'm probably up to like 90% each month. So pretty exciting. The next habit that I started this fall right after I had Cassie that I have loved and have not been 100% consistent about yet though is doing school with Carrie. I try to do school with Carrie 3 days a week, and really this is extremely simple things. Sitting down, doing a puzzle with her, reading her a book, learning to write the alphabet, learning to draw numbers, just different little things like that are really easy, and who knows, maybe they'll stick, maybe they won't, but it's a really fun, intentional time for us to do something together. Habit number 19 is just to get in the habit, again, of practicing the piano at least a couple days a week. I used to actually take piano lessons, and I feel like I've just lost a lot of my ability to play. So that is habit number 19. Okay, the last habit that I started this year that was actually my husband's idea is that rather than having to make my husband's lunch every single day to send with him to work or to the house, I started making extra dinner the night before and just packing it away in the fridge right after I made it. And that just made it so much more easy and simplistic in the morning. I don't have to make an extra meal for him to have for lunch. I just pull what I made out the night before and send it with him. And it's been a lot easier. It was a brilliant idea. So I hope this video was helpful, maybe gave you some ideas when it comes to how to develop habits that actually stick. I've been really happy with the results so far. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next weekend. Bye-bye.